This brief tutorial will help you find sources for your research and evaluate their credibility. First, we'll begin where to look. Internet search engines like Google, Bing, and Yahoo provide a great start. The JMU Library database is another valuable tool for student research. Here are a few basic things to consider. What genre is your source? Is it a newspaper article, a magazine clip, or something from a more scholarly journal, perhaps? Who wrote the source? Was it one author or multiple authors? Was it a journalist, a blogger, or maybe an academic, professor, or a research scholar? Where was it published? And finally, when was it published? Once you know the basics, start thinking about authority. What are the author's credentials? Are they a doctor or a lawyer or some sort of expert? Do their credentials make them an authority in field? Are they affiliated with an organization or institution? If so, how might such an affiliation affect the author's writing? Now let's move on to the purpose of the text. Is the scope of the topic clearly stated? Why was the source written or published? Understanding the intended audience is also very useful when evaluating a text. First, think, what was the author's intended audience? How might the author's consideration of his or her audience shape the direction of the source? For instance, writing for an academic audience is often very different than writing, say, a newspaper article for the general public. In using sources to make your own argument, objectivity is key. You can usually tell after reading just a few paragraphs if the source is fact-based or opinion-based. Next, think about whether or not the author remains impartial or takes a particular stance. Does the author present multiple angles or counter-arguments fairly? How might this presentation of information affect the objectivity of the source? Now let's talk a little bit about the accuracy of the information presented in your source. Does the author include references to other sources, either in text or through a bibliography? Can you verify the information from other sources you've read? Where did the knowledge originate? And what types of sources does the author reference? The quality of the general appearance of your information can often tell you a lot about the source. Is it free of surface-level errors? Is the text presented in a well-developed and organized manner? What types of graphics are used? Are visual elements helpful, or are they used as a means of detracting you from the lack of scholarly or factual information within the article? The final element to consider is the timeliness of your source. It should be easy to determine when the source was published. Is the information current within the field? If you don't know, you might want to do a little more investigating. And finally, has the source been updated? I hope this video has been useful in helping you find sources and think about the different elements that make them credible. Now it's time to start your own research. So get out there, hit the internet, hit the library, and start finding sources and thinking about their credibility. Be sure to check the class website for any other homework for this week.